I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of the full video review of the BlackBerry Q10 smartphone. It's a new phone with an old design. Can it compete with the Galaxy S4, the HTC One, the LG Optimus G, and the plethora of other devices on the market in a pretty tight space? Nonetheless, we'll find out in part 2, which starts right now. We start part 2 of the BlackBerry Q10 full video review in the dialer because I want to show you some of the changes, particularly if you're coming from an old BlackBerry and you're evaluating whether this is the best option for you as opposed to Android, iOS, or even Windows Phone 8. So we'll start with the dialer 611, for example. I just want to show you the colors and the scheme has changed. You can see shortcuts here for speaker, mute, notes, in-call, keypad, all the stuff that you would expect in a picture, of course, if you had that on the device. And of course, like any other application, swipe up, with the exception obviously of messages. Swipe up and it'll help you get rid of that just by clicking the X right there. And you'll see my running applications again down here. And much like any other OS, TouchWiz, for example, that runs top Android, and then iOS, I can scroll down here at the bottom to quickly go from page to page within 2, 3, 4, as you can see there, from page to recent applications. Then I've got phone stuff down here as well, phone shortcut, but I've got the camera as well. Before I jump into the camera though, I want to give thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like the Q10 for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, the reps are unbiased, whether it's Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, or Verizon. They'll make sure you're hooked up with a device that works the best for you, thanks to Best Buy Mobile. Go in there, they'll hook you up. GSM Nation also, special thanks to them for providing us with a review unit of the BlackBerry Q10. You can get this device, you can actually buy it from them, which is nice, at gsmnation.com. Unlocked and without a contract, which is a nice little bonus. So here's the camera, 8 megapixel camera, and you can see by clicking the menu button, I can switch the camera to the front-facing camera, which I'll do right now. Hello. And then I'll switch back. And little things like this, as you can see, it's not recognizing my touch. These are the kind of things that concern me about the operating system. Not sure why. There we go. 12th time is the charm. And then we'll come in here and snap pictures, as you see. And I can touch anywhere on the screen and it'll focus up there and let me take the picture. So of course I've got down here the ability to choose this option and really get a nice angle and pick best faces. And I can come in here to panorama, or excuse me, to video as well, and take advantage of the 1080p HD video recording capabilities on this device. So I've got that as an option. I want to show you BlackBerry World as well because it's definitely gotten better. They've made some improvements to this. It still has work to do though to catch up with Google Play, Apple's App Store, and then the Windows Store, Windows Phone Store. So keep that in mind as you're scrolling through and taking a look at this video and you're seeing some of the applications. So I have some featured applications, for example, and I have quite a few, such as Skype, things you're going to be familiar with out of the box. I find this to be a little bit wonky. There have been a couple of applications I've downloaded that either haven't installed correctly or, for example, and I realize the Android port thing that's going on with BlackBerry right now, but still not installing correctly, even with them being BlackBerry applications. And then of course other little issues like I showed you in part 1 with Twitter, where my Twitter feed is just loading. It's not popping up, not getting any messages, no interactions, no mentions. Not really sure what's going on here, but it's been doing this for a couple of weeks now. So just little things like that. But back to BlackBerry World, it is a one-stop shop now, so you can access a bunch of different things, games, apps, music, video, and then My BlackBerry World as well. So much like the other common stores, you get the ability to access your music out of the box and your apps out of the box as opposed to downloading multiple applications to keep track of that kind of stuff. So I want to go back, and even though I covered this in part 1, I want to talk more about the physical keyboard because that's obviously going to be the win for this device. And we'll take a look here at this one. This is a sample message I was sending myself earlier, so I'll say the quick brown fox is happy. I have to get my hands in the right place here. That it is almost quitting time and he can leave and have a drink of water, which is not really what he's going to have, but I just have a feeling. Emoticons here as well. I can swipe between those and take advantage of whichever emoticons I want to use. And then I've got the ability to attach stuff and then send by clicking right there, or send in typical BlackBerry format by hitting enter as well. Back button here, and you'll see that much like anything, you've got this little shortcut over here to bring open my email accounts, and this is going to bring me back to BlackBerry Hub, where I can access all the accounts on the device, BBM, text messages, and more, which I'm not going to do right now because there's a bunch of private emails in there, work emails, And of course, my personal accounts are synced up to this as well. Taking a quick look at BlackBerry videos, obviously you can set up BlackBerry Link here and bring over your videos, your music, and more by downloading that on your computer. So keep that in mind if you're coming from another device with music and of course with videos as well. BlackBerry Remember is particularly useful as well. We'll go in here and take a look at this application and you can see unfiled entries. We'll create a new entry here. We'll call this folder Stuff. Save. Let's go in here and let's say Stuff to do, and let's say additional notes, plan a trip in November to Hawaii again. Plan a trip, which is not really grammatically correct English, but plan a trip in November to Hawaii again. Stuff to do, I can save that. Really just a place for me to take notes and keep track of my life. So that's a nice little touch there as well. So a couple little goodies like that out of the box. Maps has improved significantly in comparison to what you've seen in the past. We'll scroll out here so you can take a look at Dallas Metroplex as a whole and see how it looks. I can search a term or address, and I can come down here as well to my favorites, my recents, and then of course addresses within my contacts and see where all of my contacts live as well. Let me show the traffic so you can get an idea of what it looks like, which it's Friday afternoon, so I expect it to be, although it's only it's actually 5 o'clock, so traffic is, as you can see, popping up on the map, terrible all across Dallas. So that will be a delight getting home from the office. But the good thing is I've got the map so I can prepare for it over here on my BlackBerry. So obviously big win here is the keyboard. I can't find, and I said this in the other review, the snapshot review, I can't find any real use case for this device. It is a great improvement from BlackBerry's. BlackBerry 9900, BlackBerry Bold 9930. Great improvement all around. If you have to have one for work, if you just love your BlackBerry, you're committed to BlackBerry and the platform, this is going to be a great one for you, and it brings a great keyboard into the mix as well. Maybe you email a lot and you were looking for a physical QWERTY keyboard. It's going to be a good one all around for you. In my testing, battery life is not the best. I can make it through about 3/4 of a day. If I was using it lightly throughout the day, I used it in Vegas as part of my work stuff or for email for work. I didn't make it through the day any of the days. I made it about 3/4 of the way through the day before the battery died. So keep that in mind. From a battery perspective, it's not the best. From a call quality perspective, definitely decent. Had no issues with call quality. But battery life not the best. BlackBerry 10 still arguably a little bit behind in comparison to its counterparts, Android, iOS, and Windows Phone 8. So I'm struggling to find a use case for this unless you just really are dying to have a physical QWERTY keyboard, 1. 2, you absolutely love BlackBerry and the platform, you're committed, maybe you have a bunch of friends on BBM. There's a great use case there as well, though BBM is coming to Android, to other platforms, Android, iOS, etc. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Otherwise, I just can't really find a use case for this because everything that it does, there's another platform that does it better. The camera, you've got Windows Phone 8 options, you've got great Android options, the One, the Galaxy S4, the iPhone 5 has a phenomenal camera, even the Nokia Lumia 928 on Verizon with the Xenon Flash is a great camera, and the Lumia 920 has great low light capabilities. So I'm struggling to find, one of those really things where people would walk into the store and say, I want this phone because of this. The only exception to the rule is the physical keyboard, but I think people have gotten so used to on-screen keyboards that it's hard for people to make a switch, and that is unfortunately combined with a high price point is going to be, I think, what BlackBerry struggles with in selling this device. I love the physical QWERTY keyboard. Unfortunately, it feels a little bit antiquated to me. The whole device feels a little bit antiquated even with BlackBerry 10. Love it. I hope they do well. I would love to see them in the marketplace. They're a great competitor, and hopefully they'll release some new BlackBerry 10 devices. But for right now, I love the physical QWERTY keyboard. I'm not willing to sacrifice every other feature on my device to get that physical QWERTY keyboard. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of the BlackBerry Q10 coming soon, I should say, to Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, and hopefully AT&T. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron. I'm on Facebook at Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker, and on Google Plus at PhoneDog.com/G+. Keep it locked on the site. We'll have more with the BlackBerry Q10, including some head-to-head battles, what we call in Phone Dog land dogfights of this QWERTY little beast here, because it's got a great QWERTY keyboard. It just needs to compete up here. Keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage, and as always, I'll see you next time.